By providing an assessment of how ready a company is for the transition to a low-carbon economy, TPI scores provide a really useful tool for anyone who's interested in supporting or benefiting from that transition. Alongside traditional uses like enhancing ESG scores, risk management, and engagement strategies, TPI scores can also be used directly in index construction. There's a lot of different ways this can be done. And 3 ways include bucketing, screening, or filtering techniques, targeting specific index outcomes, or a methodology called tilting. I'm just going to speak really briefly at a high level about how TPI scores can be used in each of these 3 different construction methodologies. So the first one I mentioned was bucketing, screening, or filtering techniques. The idea behind this methodology is that you take your universe of stocks and then you sort them based on the metric of interest, so in this case, a TPI score. You would then consider a threshold above or below which you consider to be an acceptable level, and you can filter according to this threshold. So for example, a Climate Transition Leaders Index might try to capture a subset of stocks that exhibit particularly high management quality or carbon performance metrics. Or conversely, you might come up with a threshold for which a TPI score below which is unacceptable, and you can filter or screen those stocks out. This type of construction methodology has the benefit of being really familiar to the market, and so it's really easy to communicate how your index was constructed. The second technique I mentioned is targeting specific index outcomes. This sort of methodology uses a mathematical technique such as an optimizer or a solver to find the index weights required to meet precise and predefined index outcomes. This is particularly useful if you need to meet precise sustainability goals at an organizational level, or if you have prescriptive regulatory goals. The TPI scores in this framework are particularly powerful because you can target an uplift on a TPI score and therefore embed an uplift in a forward-looking metric into your index construction. The third methodology that I mentioned is tilting. And this is a relatively simple methodology. You take all the stocks in your universe and you rank them according to their score on that particular metric of interest. So in this case, that would be a TPI score. You then overweight those stocks that have a high TPI score, and you would underweight those stocks that have a lower TPI score. You can then do this across several different metrics of interest, and then you can combine them multiplicatively. The key benefit of this methodology is transparency. Because you're maintaining the rank order within each tilt, you know that any stock that has a higher score will be rewarded more than any stock that has a lower score. This transparency is particularly key for creating a narrative for relative weight positions in your portfolio. An example of using TPI scores in this sort of methodology would be the FTSE TPI Climate Transition Index series. This series uses a combination of tilts towards different climate metrics, but includes getting extra exposure towards companies that have a high management quality score, and also those that are aligned with lower carbon performance scenarios. If you want any more information on TPI scores or the methodology, you can get that on our website. Thank you very much.